Actually, before I end this part, I'm going to try and show how to put these carbs back together. I got to put all the little side pieces on and everything, and I got to pop off test this one. This one's already set at about 48 PSI popping off. I'm going to have to do some more messing with that one when I get the airbox on and stuff, but that's a thing kind of for when I get it going. So I got to put all these parts back on, and then I'll try to show you how to put it all back together, because I haven't found many videos on it. Okay, so here's how you test the pop off on your carbs. You want to grab some 1/4-inch fuel line, plug both of these holes. This is only for the mag side one, the one with the fuel pump on it. Plug both these holes with a hose, put the inlet on, just get a Schrader valve from any hardware store with a barb on it, put it in the hose. Then you have to keep these covers open, spray some WD-40 in the needle, then you just put some pressure in it. And I don't have a very good system, so I just kind of see where it ends up going to when it pops off. That's for this one. This one, you just plug it into the inlet, and then you plug this one with your thumb. And this one's popping off at about 51, 52. This one's popping off about 49, which is okay. I'll adjust it later if I have to. It's supposed to be between 40 and 56, so it's good. And now I'm going to try and put them all back together with all the side pieces and stuff. Yeah, I also ran to the store today and grabbed the actual Seadoo there and grabbed the tubing that I needed. It was 40 bucks for both of these, which is insane, but I needed it. So now, technically, once I finish these carbs, I can put the engine in and get it running. So that's the move. So for the choke arm, you put the spring on with the little piece that goes inside of it. Then you pull the spring back, like that way. Put this arm on, straight up like this. Tuck that little spring arm onto it, and then should stay wide open unless you are pulling the choke. So for these bottom ones where the throttle goes, you first put the spring on, then you have to get this arm positioned like this, in this kind of orientation, and you have to pull this little one back until it can get onto here. Or what I was doing was just putting it on there and putting it on this one before I put it on and wrapping it around like that. Then get that on there. This one has this this thing where the throttle cable goes, and then this link, and then this one goes onto a separate thing that goes to the oil injection pump so that they work in harmony, I guess. So yeah, that's how you basically put the carbs back together. Other than that, you just put the screws in and do the specs that it says on seadoosource.com. That will give you all the information you need to know about the carbs and the settings and everything. So from the PTO side carb, you got that linkage on. Has the oil injection cable on it. You connect it, one lock washer there, one bolt there. Get it tight. Doesn't have to be like, you know, super tight. This part just goes to the actual oil injection pump, and that's what makes it, you know, pump more fuel the more throttle you give it. So yeah, you just gotta make sure this goes on right, and so then when you pull the throttle, it will pull the oil pump as well. And this is what you have to mess with to prime the oil pump as well once you get it going. So I'm out working on the jet ski engine again. I had it I had put it in the ski actually, and I was mocking up lines. I got all these new lines for the cooling system and stuff. Had it in here. Then I realized I was just going to hook up these oil lines that SBT, I completely forgot, SBT doesn't ship your engine with these fittings on. You have to put them on yourself. So I had to, this one was easy enough. They're really soft metal. I almost stripped. This one was okay, but this other one, holy, I don't know if I did it right. It doesn't seem threaded a lot, but like that's as tight as it would go. And it's not cross-threaded or anything, so hopefully that's enough. So yeah, you just gotta make sure you put those on. I had to take the intake off before I did that. So now I think I'm actually gonna set it on top of the ski, hook up that oil line, then drop it in there and try and mock everything else up. And then yeah, hook up all the other cooling lines. I gotta grab a couple bolts, or I gotta grab one bolt for one of the carbs because it needs to be an Allen head. It's just whoever the previous owner was just put that in there. And I gotta grab some hose clamps for this 1/2 inch tube. I got the engine in the ski now. I've got somewhat things hooked up. This one's completely hooked up. This one I need to get another hose clamp. this oil line going back up there. I need another hose clamp that goes into the top of the oil tank. I've got the starter power cable on. Just kind of trying to get everything organized. I'm probably gonna have to pull the motor out again anyways before everything goes in. I have to go to work in like 10 minutes, so I think that's probably all the progress I can do for today. And then tomorrow I got the full day, so I'm gonna probably get it started, or at least try to. And now I've got the intakes blocked off so I don't get stuff all in them. I guess the next thing I could do is... See, I don't know about this line as well. I left it long because it's like, I don't know where it's going to have to route around the exhaust. I don't know if it's going to have to go like up through here or around the side. I don't remember. So I'll have to look up a diagram or something like that. Yeah, that's about all for now. It's getting really close. Back out in the morning. Now I have put all of the cables on, throttle, choke, and the oil injection one routed. Got the carbs bolted on, all of the hoses connected, except for I just have to connect up the in and the out, or whatever, the return one that goes like all the way back around. I put some yellow zip ties on stuff where there was other zip ties. I don't know why you would have a zip tie there, but they were there, so I put them there. It kind of looks okay. I've got starter hooked up with ground and stuff. Nothing's hooked up to the battery yet, of course. I'm going to try and get it running just like this without the pump on first, just so I can make sure it runs. And then I have a guy that I found that'll help me out when doing engine alignment so that it's, you know, actually good. Gotta connect up a few more hoses. Right now I have to go get a bolt for this choke thing here. The one there was stripped inside. It's a mini Allen key bolt. So I have to go grab a little one of those if I can. If not, I have no idea. It just has to be the same threads. It could be an even longer bolt. I don't really care. So yeah, that's all for now. I will be back with more progress. So I've got the base of the flame arrestor on now. I'm gonna just do that until I get everything else on, because it's so easy to put on. To run to the store to get more bolts for this, because this didn't come with... Oh my god, I put this on the wrong way. I have to flip it. I had to get bolts for this because I ordered this because mine came with some weird K&N filter. So I had to get some bolts for this. Then I ran the pulse line now. I don't know exactly how that's supposed to be run. I don't have the elbow fitting that it's supposed to have, so I just ran it down into the block. I don't even know if that's right. I'm pretty sure it is because I couldn't find... It seems like some of them will have a pulse over here. It just goes like straight down, like right there. But mine is over there, it seems. So, yeah, that's how that's working. I was messing with the drive shaft in there to see if it would be close to being aligned. I found a guy that can do it for me. So hopefully I'll do that. Next, I'm going to try to install the exhaust, I guess. And yes, I know I have it tilted on its side, but since there's no gas or anything in it, it should be okay. Lost more bolts, but got the exhaust all on. All the lines for cooling are run. The only thing is I have to do now, connect fuel line, connect whatever this vent hose is. I am not sure, I gotta figure that out. Gotta connect battery power, and what else? I think that's it. Go get some gas. Oh, I have to connect one more oil return line thing from the crankcase. That is it. Just gotta connect a couple lines and this thing should hopefully run. So here's where I'm gonna end off tonight. The entire motor's in, and I was trying to hook up the battery, and I dropped the little thing that goes into this hole for the screw to go into. and I dropped the washer. I luckily got the screw, but I have to find that under there somewhere, and I've been trying to shake the jet ski, but it just won't pop out. So I'm gonna leave it for tomorrow morning, so I can actually see, and hopefully get it running. The first thing I'm gonna do is just pull the plugs, see if it'll turn over with the starter, make sure everything's working like that. And then I will check for spark still on the plugs, and then I'm gonna get some gas in it and oil, and try and get it going. I have the idle set a little bit high. It's not too high, but it's, I don't know, a little bit higher. It's pushing on the throttle on the car. You can't see it. It's too dark. It's very late. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it for tomorrow morning. Come out and hopefully get it going. I have also connected all the electronics at the hood, kind of. I'm missing all these screws too. Some of them are there, if you can see that, like right down there. And I had a bag of them, but I don't know where I put them again, so that's good. Here is the front section. You really can't see anything. Yeah, that's where I'm calling it for tonight, and I'll be back out in the morning, and this thing is running. Progress report. Came out early in the morning, took off the motor mounts, reached under there, found the washer that I lost with the battery terminal, but I cannot find the actual nut. So it's in there somewhere. Hopefully it doesn't cause a catastrophic failure. I don't see how it could. But hopefully it'll just pop out one day after, and I'll just notice it or something. But I've got the battery hooked up now. I have checked spark. Both plugs are good, have spark. Power's going to most places. I cranked it over a couple times. I don't want to do it like, it's got a little bit of oil in there, but not enough. So I just kind of cranked it just to check the spark. So now I'm gonna go to the gas station, get some gas in just a jerry can, and hopefully fire this thing up. I've got it set for a higher idle because I just want to see if it starts, and I'm going to do all the other testing in the water. And if it does start and run, then I'm going to go get the pump aligned by some guy that I found. He's hopefully got a tool that I can use, or I'll pay him to do it for me even. But yeah, I'm just going to bolt on this the water box back because I had to move the motors to take that off. Gonna bolt that back on, head to the gas station, get some premium. Maybe I'll go to the far one and get some 94 premium. I think I'll probably just get 91. Gotta fill up the truck too, and yeah, gotta get some oil, fuel in it. Gotta prime both systems. I gotta do a 50-to-1 mix with the fuel. Then I'm gonna dump some down the carbs, down both carb hole first, just to, get it going so it's not running dry. And I gotta really make sure that the fuel pump is working. And I am actually unsure of how to prime the oil system. I think I have to just fill it up, try and get it as much as I can down here. And I'm probably just gonna turn it by hand on the PTO and hold the oil injection wide open. And that way it can, that way it'll get oil in it. But I mean, pre-mixing it will give it like a little barrier. It'll be okay for, a little bit, but you want to have the oil injection going too for break-in especially. So yeah, I'm going to head to the gas station now. Went and grabbed some gas, pre-mixed it 50-to-1 because that's what I was looking on the Seadoo forum. That's what it said to do if you're running the oil injection pump at first. So for the first full tank of gas, I have to run it 50-to-1. I dumped a little bit in this cup because I'm going to dump that down the carbs to make sure that it's not just trying to go without any fuel before the fuel pump really starts pumping it. I've made this like suction thing to prime the fuel line to get all the fuel down to the bottom of it here before it goes into the carb. So that way it's basically like as soon as it starts working, it's gonna pump. I hope. Then I have to figure out how to prime the oil injection still. I think what I have to do is Just dump oil in the tank, get it all down this line and whatever lines I can get it to, and try and fill up the crank as much as I can. Because the crank needs to have oil in it, obviously. So yeah, I'm trying to look it up right now, but I'm gonna go do that, and then I will be back. So to bleed the oil system and prime it, you fill up the tank. It looks like the tank might be leaking a bit. The tank has a little leak, probably because it's overfilled. Which that sucks. Is it overfilled? I can't really tell. I have to check that. Anyways, so to bleed, you have to let it go, and gravity will fill all the crank and everything, and it will go all the way back around, which is good. But for the oil filter and the oil pump, you have to open a little bleed screw underneath. It should be a 10 millimeter, at least on mine it was. I know there's a couple different versions of the oil pumps, so it should be a 10 millimeter. It's right under the PTO side oil injection little tube. It's right under that one. You loosen that, it'll help it bleed out a bit, but it's still going to take a while, so I'm just going to kind of leave it, bleed it out, spin the PTO a little bit. I've been cranking it over, but I don't want to do that too much. And yeah, that's that. And then next comes priming the fuel system, which is super easy. So it turns out I was kind of wrong. This will bleed eventually. You probably have to leave it overnight or longer. So once you've got all this done, the oil's in it, and you know it's like there, it's just a little bit of air. You open the bleed screw, then you have to start it to get it going. So that's why I guess you use the premix, especially when you're first starting it. And in that little thing over there, I got a little bit extra. It's probably more like a 40-to-1. So I'm going to start off with that and the carbs, get it going. Still got to fill up the fuel here. And once I do that, I'm just going to suck fuel through this and up to this line until it's there. Put it on the carb, bolt it on. I have the idle on the very, like it's the idle adjuster's not even touching the throttle. So I'm going to keep it on the lowest as I can, and then try and keep cranking like that. That way it hopefully won't like run away on me, or, you know, go to like 4K RPM on first start and just disintegrate stuff. Gotta hook up the water box still. Yeah, so the bleed screw is doing stuff. Like it's leaving, you know, a little mark on that towel, if you can even see it. But I guess the fastest way is to do it by starting it. So that's what I'm gonna try and do. I really hope it works. For some reason, when I put the key on though, there's no beep anymore, and the gauges don't seem to light up. But all the other electronics are working, so I don't know if I like blew a fuse or something, but I'm not really worried about that right now, honestly. More just want to get it running. Okay, so I have now poured gas down the carbs, pre-mixed, filled up the gas tank, primed the fuel system. Oil system's basically primed, got the bleed screw open, keys in, exhaust is bolted. Gonna try to crank it, see what happens. I have the idle adjusting screw on the lowest setting, so I'm probably gonna have to give it some throttle to give her. Here we go. Oh wait, I should put this on. Here we go. Woo! That start button's hard to press. Well, it runs, but something's wrong. Oil system doesn't want to go, it seems like. There's no oil in the lines at all. Oh, because I have to hold the pump wide open. That's right. All right, I'll try again. I'm gonna have to figure that out. Might need 2 people. I don't know. Oil doesn't seem to be priming. I don't know if I just gotta let it idle for longer, but it seems like some bubbles are coming up through that one, but I don't want to have to hook up the water and keep it running without the oil like going. So I think I'm gonna let it cool down for a bit, and next time try and, it was also idling pretty high. I know it has to be at like 3K out of the water, but that was pretty high. There's some exhaust smoke coming out of this, which makes sense, but actually, does it? I don't know if that's right. It's probably going up this line. I don't know. That might not be right. I don't know. Yeah, so I'm gonna let it cool down. Idle was a bit high, so I turned it down a little bit there. And next time I guess I'll try and get it running for longer. And once it's running for longer, after like 10 seconds I'll put on the hose and see if that helps at all. I don't know, seems weird. I thought the oil pump would have primed quicker than that. So I waited for it to cool down a little bit, ran it again, held it wide open. I'm just gonna go in little increments. This oil injection tube has now filled up. There's still a big air bubble right there and there. And this one is slowly creeping full. I can see some stuff coming up. So I think if I wait for it to cool again, and once I do that, wait for it to cool again, hold it open for like 15 seconds more, I think it'll go, because I did, it was probably running for about 8 seconds there, 8 or 10. And, you know, I don't want to run it much more than that out of water. It should be fine and stuff, but I'm going to wait maybe, I don't know, 15 minutes, wait for it to cool off a little bit. And, yeah, go again. I think, I'm checking the bleeder right now, if you can kind of see down there. Yeah, seems like it's still puking out a little bit of oil, if you can see that. So, gotta wait for that, make sure that air is all out of the lines, and then I'll check the bleeder once more and see if there's still, if there's a lot of oil coming out or just a little. Okay, let's try this again. Just had it going. Gotta hold the pump wide open. Oil pump wide open, start it. It's slowly getting there. More and more is coming out. But I just gotta keep going like that, I guess. So basically, what I can say is follow all the little tips I give, but like when it comes to starting it, I honestly butchered this. I was just so excited to get it really going. I should have done some more looking into stuff, and once I figured something wasn't right, I shouldn't have just stuck with it. Basically, when you first start the engine, or not even start it, when you fill the oil tank, wait for all the oil to gravity feed into the crank, and then it will, even using gravity, it will go up the return as well. Then once you do that, open the bleeder screw using like a mirror and just look down at the oil pump, and open that up, wait for most of the air to come out. If you did it right and you didn't have any kind of big air spots like I did, like I had air cavitating, which could have been really bad. Um, so you open the bleeder screw, wait for most of the air to get out, basically all of it. If you did it right, then you, once you first start it, get it to idle with your premixed fuel. You'll hold open the uh, the oil injection line, and for like 5 or 10 seconds, then there should be no more bubbles. You should just be able to run it. Idle's supposed to be around 3K out of water. I didn't really want to set that. It was probably a little bit low here in the video, but I'm just going to mess with all that while it's in the water. Just don't follow what I did for starting it, but you can follow the other stuff.